after the 3-hour when does it fucking end fiasco that was Monday Night Raw, and amidst all of the absolute chaos that is all over social media due to Election Day, it's a good thing we had SmackDown to make the day somewhat livable.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Smackdown Rundown, where we're talking about SmackDown from Glasgow, the second half of the TV time from Glasgow, Scotland. I gotta say, SmackDown did the same amount of matches. I think half of the talking, and made it all entertaining in just 2 hours. Hell, less than that, because you know that at least 20 minutes was commercials.
Yeah.
So an hour and 40 minutes. Good job, SmackDown. This is why
you done good, kid.
This is why we appreciate the blue brand.
It is.
Once again, this is all about Survivor Series, since we're getting ever so close.
That was a cool thing that they mentioned about Survivor Series in a backstage segment.
Yeah.
The Cruiserweight Championship is going to be defended on Survivor Series. Raw versus SmackDown. Brian Kendrick defends against Kalisto.
Yeah, this is in return for the open challenge that Dolph Ziggler put out that was accepted by Sami Zayn. So now we have the potential of the Intercontinental Championship going to Raw and the entire Cruiserweight division going to SmackDown.
Which in turn could happen as one of the reasons why they're doing 205 Live filmed right after SmackDown.
Exactly. So, I mean, it could be... I mean, I think that would be a smart move. I think...
SmackDown is where the Cruiserweight Championship was prior to it leaving.
And you know, and we talked about since we knew it was going to be a thing that Kalisto needed to be a part of it. So this could be a good way to get him to be a part of it. I think this would also be good for, because we have so many big stars on Raw. It would be nice for people like Sin Cara and Neville to go over to SmackDown and be a part of the Cruiserweight division as well. And you know, SmackDown is good at time management and, you know, keeping things interesting throughout their entire show and not muddling it down. I think it would be a fantastic addition to the roster. I don't think it's gonna happen, but
I have a slightly bolder prediction.
Well, you're still going with your Brian Kendrick thing, aren't you?
Yeah. And here's what happens. If he loses to Kalisto and the Cruiserweight division goes over to SmackDown with 205 Live, Brian Kendrick is on SmackDown.
All right.
Just saying. I think Dolph Ziggler's going to retain, so I just think SmackDown's going to get the Cruiserweight division specifically for 205 Live. I think maybe they might do a Cruiserweight match on SmackDown every now and again, but you know they're going to have an hour show devoted to the Cruiserweight division afterwards. Yeah, no,
it would make total sense.
But and it would make it way easier for them to do all the fucking switching the ropes and stuff. If they did it in there's going to be probably a 2-minute in between gap for the 205 Live video and song to play,
something like that. Not only that, but you know, Dolph Ziggler potentially could not be the Intercontinental Champion going into Survivor Series, because the only way that Miz is going to get his championship rematch is if he faces him next week, and that match has officially been announced.
Because Maurice accepted.
Yeah, Maurice accepted. Miz didn't look too excited about it. But Miz, this is the only way you're going to get it. So next week, you know,
that ploy is just the only way for me to make it seem like Dolph Ziggler's championship is in jeopardy at Survivor Series. It's by saying, oh, Miz only has one chance in a week from today to get it because it might not be on SmackDown anymore.
Yeah.
Makes you go, ooh, that's a thing, but probably not.
Yeah. And Ziggler's super excited to not only face Miz next week, but go on to Survivor Series and defend it against Sami Zayn.
A paperboy.
Yeah. This is the hat,
yep.
Right? Okay. But yeah, so this was the other big news, other than what, you know, the talk about Survivor Series, is next week is SmackDown 900.
Yeah.
So not only are we getting the Intercontinental Championship match, we are also getting the return of Edge doing a cutting edge segment, and the return of the Undertaker, who's always kind of been a SmackDown guy since
during the original brand split, he had like 2 short stints on Raw.
Yeah.
And then the rest of his entire career on SmackDown.
Yeah, and I think he was in Vince McMahon's top 10 picks to go to SmackDown during the very first brand split, because Ric Flair was all about having people like The Rock and there was someone else that was the Triple H.
I feel like Taker was initially Raw, because I think that's when he had that ladder match with Jeff Hardy, which was on a Raw.
I think that was before the brand split. I could be wrong. We'll figure it out. So yeah, lots of stuff going to be happening next week, and next week is the go home show to Survivor Series.
Yeah.
So SmackDown's going big. SmackDown's got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff to get excited about. One match that didn't necessarily mean anything as far as SmackDown 900 or Survivor Series. We had a rematch technically between Apollo Crews and Curt Hawkins. Curt Hawkins is still upset because when he tried to make his debut, he got punched in the face by Apollo Crews. They had a short match. Curt Hawkins sporting quite the black eye, apparently due to the super kick that he got last week against Dolph Ziggler. So his left eye was all like super swollen and sunken in, and Curt Hawkins ends up defeating Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews going for one of his top rope crossbodies.
Undertaker was Raw's #1 pick.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
SmackDown had The Rock.
Wow. Fuck me. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Crews misses the crossbody, gets rolled up by Curt Hawkins. Curt Hawkins picks up his first win on WWE television, so congratulations, Curt Hawkins. Hopefully that means that he'll start doing more stuff down the line. Let's see. We had the last qualifier for the Survivor Series tag team match. We had Breezango, the Fashion Police, in their half cop outfits, half kilt. Their homage to Scotland, defeating the Vaudevillains
in a fairly quick manner.
Yeah, very quick. We had a supermodel kick and the Falcon Arrow take out Aiden English. Simon Gotch was just a little too slow to break up the pin, so Breezango joins Heath Slater and Rhino, the Hype Bros, and American Alpha.
And the Usos.
So many people in that match. And so, yeah.
The hope is that they're going to do it the same way they did the old Survivor Series tag team matches. Whereas, when they did this back in the day, because this used to be a staple for the first few years of Survivor Series 2.
Really? Okay.
5 tag teams versus 5 tag teams.
Okay, I did not know that.
It was always 5 heel tag teams versus 5 babyface tag teams.
Obviously.
But if you get pinned, you and your partner are both eliminated.
Oh.
That way you don't have to eliminate 10 guys from a team to end the match.
All right.
Else that would take like an hour.
And then another match that was just kind of building some tension amongst the women's team. We had Naomi taking on the coach of the women's team, Natalya. We had Nikki Bella at commentary.
And then lo and behold, this match was just to put more into the storyline of Carmella versus Nikki Bella.
Yeah.
Neither of the women who were in the match.
Yeah. They decide to get in each other's face. Natty tries to break it up. Realizes she's about to get counted out.
Realizes her whistle's broken.
Yeah, she can't get that whistle to work at all. She gets back in the ring, ends up getting rolled up by Naomi. Naomi
Alfonso, she is not.
No. I think she'd be a little more. Yeah, she'd know how to use the whistle better. That's what I was going for. But I can't talk apparently.
You know what that means?
What?
Bill Alfonso's better at blowing than Natty.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably also means that he does more blow than Natty too.
That's a definite. Yes. That happened. That happened a lot.
Hashtag ECW.
And then speaking of women's action, we finally had our women's championship match. Alexa Bliss challenging Becky Lynch. This match was great.
The match was awesome.
The match was so good.
I loved the match. I loved the storytelling. I love that Alexa Bliss was out to prove that she could out-wrestle Becky Lynch.
They had a great opening spot, and then it was, as soon as Alexa got that first opening, she had so much variation on how to work over the shoulder of Becky Lynch. And Becky is just so good at selling. She's able to keep that, whatever limb she's selling, she's able to keep it very guarded, which makes you feel even more that it's in jeopardy.
Yeah.
And Alexa Bliss, her ferocity towards that wounded shoulder was just so believable, and she kept trying to find different ways to just wrench on it and hurt it and bend it and just all kinds of things. And they did such a great job. This is, we should have had this at No Mercy, but unfortunately, injury happened. So it was just
the only spot in the match that stood out as something that didn't go, I think, as smoothly as they wanted.
The tornado DDT.
The tornado DDT.
Yeah.
That stopped, and then just turned into a regular DDT.
Yeah, I feel like it was what it was supposed to be was like a last chance for Becky to try and turn it into something, and maybe it was
But she just stood there.
Yeah, she just stood there, and then Alexa Bliss hit her with a DDT, just like a regular jumping DDT. So that definitely could have been better. But yeah, the match itself, a great story between the two, and then I know you have a gripe with the end.
Yeah.
So I'll let you go ahead and spell out the end.
The ending. Becky Lynch hits an O'Connor roll on Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss then counters it back into an O'Connor roll. On her end, Becky Lynch kicks out, and in the midst of rolling out of the pin, grabs Alexa's arm and puts her in the disarmor.
Right.
Then Alexa smacks the bottom rope with a foot, and then grabs the bottom rope on the perpendicular side with her hand, and Becky pulls her away, sort of, and gets the disarmor in, and then Alexa Bliss puts her foot on the rope, and then taps out, and the ref calls for the bell. I understand that this is just to be okay, hey, they're going to have a match later. But I just think there are more creative ways they could have gone about it.
That's fair. The ending didn't necessarily bother me. I liked the desperation of Alexa Bliss, trying to get the ropes in every little bit.
My big gripe about it, I guess, is that they have to use this sort of a method, being it's a referee error that is why this happened, when Roman Reigns can get 9 title shots at the same belt for no reason. Or
Raw. You're good at still good.
It seems like it's with everyone though. Any of the top tier wrestlers get title shots just because.
Yeah.
And so on this one, where it just seems you could give Alexa another shot at the title based on the fact that she got really close to beating Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
That warrants a rematch in its own right.
Yeah. And I agree with that, and I think...
You don't need to make the little Asian ref guy look like a moron.
True. I do... I don't know, I'm on the fence with it just because, I hate to see someone just get a match for no reason. Roman Reigns. It's not... I'm not excited when someone's just we need someone to face this person. You're gonna face this person because this person won't like to face you. Okay, you can do that once, maybe twice, but not with the same fucking person. So let's stop that shit. Roadblock's gonna be fun. But I think that's why I kind of appreciate the fact that they went with they tried to make something different than, I don't know. It's.
You know what else would have been easy?
Hmm.
Alexa Bliss loses, and then next week on SmackDown, she wins another number 1 contenders match.
But then you have why is Alexa Bliss getting a number 1 contenders match?
Same argument. She almost beat Becky Lynch.
All right. How do you guys feel about it? Does the ending bother you?
Because that's one of the things that is like they do in WWE, which is supposed to be a sport.
Yeah.
Even though it's now it's just sports entertainment, and we all know it's a work. We all know it's a work.
What?
But like the way they always explain it is like, oh, when you lose, you go to the bottom, and you have to work your way back up.
Right.
If you look at like all the other like fighting sports, like MMA, if you're the number 1 contender and you lose to the champion, you're knocked down to like 3rd, maybe 4th. You don't have to go to the bottom and work your way all the way back up through everybody else.
Because then it would really be up to whether or not the person above you could win their fight, because if they lose, then they drop down again also, which would kind of then put you back up in that spot.
Yeah. So, I mean, that being said, when you're the number 1 contender, that just means you are the second best behind the champion.
Right.
So you don't have as much to prove as somebody else coming up.
Okay. I can understand, and
Not that I'm the one that like always tries to compare wrestling to legitimate fighting sport.
It's just it's a creative, it's a new way of doing things. It's a more
modern way of doing
it's a more
things.
well-rounded way of doing it rather than finding loopholes like referees being stupid.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Let's talk about our overarching storyline, which thank you SmackDown. I said you could have one dissension amongst your teams, and you did that. Thank you so much for only making it one. Thank you so much. So we open up. AJ Styles does not like his team. He wants everything to be about him.
Yeah, he made himself the leader.
Yeah, he's the champion. He's the captain.
Team Styles.
Everything needs to be about AJ Styles. Baron Corbin comes down. He's playing that I don't really want to work with anybody kind of thing, because that's Baron Corbin's thing. He's a lone wolf. He doesn't want to work with anybody. The Wyatts all come down, including Randy Orton, and Styles is like so sure that they're gonna be with him. They're like, hey, welcome to Team Styles. And then Dean Ambrose is making his way down, then realizes he forgot something, goes back up, and brings out James Ellsworth, which AJ was so sure they didn't fly James Ellsworth over to Scotland, but they did. So AJ
Dean just shoved him into his bag.
He'd fit.
Well, I mean, he doesn't like usually use a suitcase, because usually he just like he wears the same shit all the time. Like he's got all his like one T-shirt, one tank top, and one pair of jeans. That's all he wears. It's kind of like Luke Harper.
Yeah.
He just washes it more regularly.
Yeah.
So he fits all of his extra clothes in his carry-on.
Right.
So he's just like, oh well, usually you get one free checked bag with your flight. So let's see if I can't fit James Ellsworth into a bag so we can bring him to Glasgow.
Just so happens to work out.
Yeah.
So this is where we have, AJ telling everyone that
he could have like Renee have his clothes.
Maybe. This is where AJ's telling, he's got everyone in the ring. He's telling everyone that they have to follow him. He's the captain. That's how we're gonna win. Welcome to Team Styles. And then Baron Corbin immediately rolls out of the ring, walks away. And as he's heading up the ramp, we have a face-off between the Wyatts and AJ. Shane McMahon's making his way down and just looking at Corbin like, where the hell are you going? And then we get Shane making that same rah-rah speech. This is for SmackDown. This is why we got to work together. We got to win.
So we're going to get all the bickering out of the system by having a 6-man tag match today.
Yeah. Not only that, but James he uses James Ellsworth as a as like this is what
You
you
gotta
need
have
to
all the
embody.
enthusiasm and determination.
You need to think about things the way James Ellsworth does. You need to have passion. You need to be ready to win for SmackDown.
I don't see enthusiasm when I look at James Ellsworth.
You know, hey man, he does this with both of his fists. That gives him a fighting chance.
He also probably pisses himself before most matches.
But you know, some people can't help that. Don't just. Anyway,
I'm not saying that it's. I'm just saying it's probably not a medical condition.
But this so not only do we have Natty being the coach on the women's team, but now the men's team has their mascot in James Ellsworth. So James Ellsworth is officially the mascot of Team SmackDown. AJ throws his microphone and just doesn't care. So then we have Shane make the 6-man tag, and it's going to be the Wyatt family against James Ellsworth, Dean Ambrose, and Baron Corbin. But Baron Corbin wants nothing to do with this match. He says, I don't even want to be on your team. You know, if you don't like it, you can take me off the team. That's fine. And Shane's like, okay, well, how about we put you in a match tonight against someone who's returning? This was supposed to be his punishment for not wanting to be a team player. So we're going to force you to face Kalisto, who technically by backstage segment standards, you put him on the shelf for a couple of months. So Baron Corbin has to take on Kalisto later on. This match never actually happens. The first bit is because Kalisto goes to do his springboard into the ring, rolls back up, jumps up, and gets clotheslined immediately. Ref's trying to get Baron Corbin back up. He won't do it. He's just throwing Kalisto around. And then he throws Kalisto out of the ring, and the ref tells Baron Corbin not to go out there. He's going to go check on Kalisto. Instead, Baron Corbin decides to get out on the other side and slips on the ring apron and keeps yelling that he hurt his knee pop, saying that he can't wrestle. He heard it pop. A couple of the referees come down. We have Kalisto drop kick his knee into the stairs.
Vicious little man.
Yes, angry Kalisto. Kalisto with a fucking mean streak. Ends up, Baron Corbin gets back in the ring. Kalisto's not done. Goes up to the top rope, hits a frog splash on the injured knee, and so this whole attack officially takes Baron Corbin out of Survivor Series.
Damn straight, you got punked out like a little bitch,
yeah.
Baron Corbin.
So now Shane is tasking Daniel Bryan with, okay, here's the roster, here's all of the male talent we have. We need someone.
Well, it was just the talent roster. It wasn't even just the male talent. It was all the talent.
Right. Yeah, so you need to pick someone from this list to fill the spot of Baron Corbin. So Baron Corbin is not just out of Survivor Series, he's also out of the 6-man tag. So Dean and James Ellsworth need a tag team partner. That ends up being Kane, since Kane's had major issues with the Wyatt family.
Especially now that Randy Orton's with them.
Exactly. So we go to our main event, where we have the Wyatt family versus Kane, James Ellsworth, and Dean Ambrose.
What a weird looking team.
Kane's only word of advice to James Ellsworth was don't tag yourself in. So this was essentially a 3-on-2 handicap match while James Ellsworth cheered from the corner.
He's practicing for Survivor Series.
Yeah. It was a good tutorial on how to be a mascot. Good match, fun match. I actually liked the chemistry between Kane and Dean Ambrose working very well as an outnumbered team. Like
I'm sure Kane's done his fair share of handicap matches.
And his fair share of tag team matches was just random partners.
Yeah, and not to mention a fair share of matches. Both of them have had the fair share of tag team matches against variations of the Wyatt family.
That's true, because that was the big thing with the Shield.
Yeah.
So Dean is well versed in the Wyatt family as well, and so we get to a point where it's chaos at this point. James Ellsworth still hasn't been tagged in. You know, we still have the story on the other side of Luke Harper not trusting Randy Orton or not liking when Randy Orton gets tagged in or tags himself in. So that's kind of the story over there. But, you know, we have this continuous making a comeback Kane and Dean Ambrose, which after dives and all kinds of random shit happening, we have Luke Harper and Kane fight their way to the back. They are completely eliminated from the match at this point. Dean and Wyatt end up hitting a big double clothesline on each other. So that leaves Randy Orton on one side, and we have Ellsworth on the other side.
Well, I don't even think Randy was up on the other side.
Oh, no, Randy got taken out by a dive from Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
So it's literally, Wyatt is by himself.
Yeah.
So both of them go down with a clothesline, and the crowd is losing it for James Ellsworth.
Yeah.
Ellsworth kind of realizes this is like the only chance he has to really like prove his worth and actually get in this match. So he goes over to the other side, tags himself in, and he sets up for it. Bray Wyatt is down. Bray Wyatt is out of it, taken out with that vicious clothesline. We get the stomps, the setup for no chin music. Unfortunately, no chin music turns into Sister Abigail, and Bray Wyatt then picks up the win over James Ellsworth. So then we have Dean trying to check on James.
And then you get the Wyatt family and AJ Styles all sort of vulturing in on Ambrose.
Yeah, Styles was a commentary. He's right in the ring immediately. Shane runs down to try and break things up. He's like, no, we gotta make sure he's okay. We can't.
We're Team Smackdown.
We can't be fighting right now. None of this stuff. Daniel Bryan makes his way out, and he's been pondering over this list for pretty much half the night at this point, trying to figure out who's going to be that fifth person. And he's been looking over the list, and he realizes on the top right-hand corner is his name. And everyone's like, ah! But then he's like, but we all know that I can't wrestle. Damn. So, there's all these people, but there's another name in the top left-hand corner, and that's Shane McMahon. So Shane, will you be the fifth member of Team Smackdown? And all Shane has to do is point his fingers in the air along with the crowd as they all chant yes. So officially our Team Smackdown is Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, Dean Ambrose, Shane McMahon,
and AJ Styles.
So now
I think Shane's the new team captain.
Yeah, now AJ not only has to deal with the fact that nobody really likes him, but he's teaming with his boss.
And the guy who is his number one contender.
Yeah. So yeah, AJ's a little outnumbered. He's definitely by himself on this team. He has no allies on this team. So I'm very interested now with Shane being on the team. It's different, and that's why I like it. I like the fact that SmackDown went with a different way with their team.
In a sense, but both teams are structured the same way. Just with the exception of Baron Corbin being removed, SmackDown doesn't have like the super powerhousey guy left on the team, but they're both 3 heels, 2 baby faces.
Oh, yeah, because I made the note in the opening segment that Dean Ambrose was the only babyface on the SmackDown team.
Yeah, they wanted to make it match Raw's team, so they took away a heel and added a babyface.
Alright.
So you have Seth and Roman on Raw, Dean and Shane on SmackDown. You're going to have the Shield reunite.
Yeah, the Shield and Shane McMahon are the babyfaces in the...
Then you got the Wyatts and Styles on SmackDown, and you got
Jericho and Braun.
Monday Night Braun.
So here's the interesting thing that you have here is you have
the Shield and the
three
Wyatt family members.
Exactly. You have the Shield.
Luke Harper feels really left out.
Yeah.
Because it's the Bray Wyatt and the two newer Wyatt family members.
I feel like
Eric Rowan's gonna come out and just hug Luke Harper. Sorry, man.
they're gonna start their own version of the Wyatt family by themselves, while Braun does his thing on Raw and Bray Wyatt teams up with Randy Orton. So, all in all, a fun episode of SmackDown. Very well paced. Some interesting stuff happened. Some good matches happened.
We all know that Shane knows how to handle himself in a 5-on-5 elimination match, because at Survivor Series he eliminated the Big Show.
This is true.
In Team WWE versus the Alliance.
This is true.
He then was subsequently eliminated pretty quick after that.
Yeah.
But he has an elimination over the Big Show at Survivor Series, so...
And officially...
So I'm picking him to eliminate Braun.
That would be awesome. So officially, Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon will be on Raw this week. They announced it themselves. You know, Shane made sure that Daniel was going to be there. So we'll see them on Monday Night Raw, and you know that Stephanie's going to have something to say with Shane being put on the team.
She's going to try to put Mick on the other team.
Yeah.
She's going to ask if Seth will trade.
Yeah, she's going to try and get Seth to trade with Mick. Mick's going to be like, I don't think that's a good idea at all. So yeah.
Mick and Daniel should have a retired fight.
A retirement home match?
It's just kind of like where they just sit here and do this for like 5 minutes.
Nope.
Until Mick Foley trips over something, and then Daniel Bryan puts him in the yes lock.
Okay, go. Yeah, so next week, hopefully Raw doesn't suck with their half-hour Goldberg-Brock Lesnar segment.
Face to face, brah.
And SmackDown...
Which is going to be really weird if they're actually
it's just like, there's like this for half an hour just staring at each other while Paul Heyman talks.
They just make out. Which would be really awkward because you bet Goldberg's wife and kid is going to be in the crowd.
Sable might be watching at home. She might have something to say about it. But then SmackDown's card is fucking stacked next week. We got a championship match. We have 2 returns. Yeah, lots of stuff happening next week on SmackDown. So look forward to that. But from now, thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Click all the links down in the description to send to all of our social medias.
We got lots of social medias.
You can listen to this review along with the Indie News, Raw Review, and upcoming midweek wrap-up in podcast form if you click the SoundCloud link.
Yeah.
There's also links to other videos if you check out Reasonable Wrestling Fans.
That's reasonable with a W.
Like wrestling. Where you get to see unboxing videos, one of which is coming out later this week. You get to see reaction videos. You get to see punishment videos. We have one of those coming up. We might have to double up here pretty soon since Survivor Series is so close.
Yeah.
But Mr. Kevin Hawk will be taking 2 chair shots due to his loss at Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
So
I think I'm pretty much medically cleared, ready to go for these chair shots.
He's been dealing with some head trauma this week, so these couple weeks, so we're
if you
we're
didn't notice on some of the
reprieve.
videos earlier this week, my eye was slightly discolored.
Yeah, we're letting him heal up before we mess him up again. So also
consider it.
Look forward to extra videos over here because this week you're going to be getting a top 5. Mr. Kevin Hawk talking about who impressed him in the month of October. And you won't get that in podcast form.
Nope.
And next week, you won't get to see you won't get to hear our predictions for Survivor Series in podcast form. So you'll have to subscribe to this channel for stuff like that. You find all of those videos and our reviews in the playlist up there or down below if you're watching on mobile. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next.
Fuck Trump.
That's kind of what I thought you were going to say.
I didn't have anything for the SmackDown to say fuck to, so.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, they didn't have